Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt with 86 and I'm taking a look at a webcam today. It seemed appropriate with everything going on, so that's exactly why I'm going to be taking a look at it. This webcam is by Speedle or Spettle, I'm not really sure, and it was a plentiful stock when I got it, but as soon as I got it, I noticed it all went currently out of stock on Amazon. So I was trying to find something that was going to be helpful and maybe reusable for you in the future depending on what you do, and that's not probably going to be the case for right now, again with everything going on. The camera is pretty basic, so this will be a pretty quick video just to kind of show you and demo it to you, and that's about it. Now it does have a thread mount in case you want to put it on a small tripod, put it next to your computer, in front of your computer, mount it low, mount it high, but for the most part it's easily designed with rubber feeding and an adjustable plate right here so that you can set it right on top of a monitor and just have it point at you as you would expect with most webcams. It appears to be borrowing a lot of design influence for how it looks from the Logitech 900 series. If you're not familiar with those, I'll also link some of those down below, but they have very much been out of stock because they're very good web cameras. I've had one in the past, I don't have it anymore. I wish I did for comparison, but I don't. But for the most part, you're looking at something that's designed to look aesthetically like Logitech's. It does have a microphone that picks up on it, and when we do our demo, you'll see how well it picks up. I mean, it actually picks up at a pretty right range of decibels in order to transmit in sound so that you can at least hear somebody. But is it the best microphone in the world? Absolutely not. Okay, so this is the webcam. It looks a little bit fuzzy, a little bit blurry. There is a software, and you might also see it focusing a lot. No, I'm jumping. There is a software called AMCap that you can download, and I'll put a link to that down below so that you can see it. But essentially, this is kind of what you see and what you get out of the box, minus the fact I turned the exposure down a little bit. Let me show you what that looks like in a bright room if you don't auto-adjust exposure yourself. Maybe it was this one. It was that one. It was exposure. Duh, exposure. You see how bright and everything gets washed out. So when we change the exposure just to auto, it's already picking up everything in the room. Now, you see how it's focusing a lot, and we don't like that. We don't want to see a bunch of blah, 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 blah in your face every 2 seconds. The camera is terrible about autofocus. While it sells it as a feature, it's probably the worst feature on this camera. So we'll go to Video Device, Camera Control, and we'll go to Focus. And we'll either pick farther or closer, whichever one works for you, and that will stop it from trying to autofocus every 2 seconds while you're doing something and being really distracting. But as you can see, we need to back up real quick too. I got to change that exposure back because I'm looking super white. I mean, I'm a pretty white guy, but this is pretty super white. What was I doing? Video. We'll go to our camera control. We're going to go to aperture. No, we're going to go to exposure. And we're going to change it to either longer or shorter. Longer is darker. That's not much darker. Camera control, exposure, shorter. But shorter is a little more of a natural look to it. Now, I feel kind of blurry and out of focus, but that might just be the nature of the beast of this camera. It's no Logitech 900 series camera. It's not even that Razer one, the Cairo, whatever it is. I don't really like Razer anyways, but it's not one of those, so you've got a little bit of working around to do. This is a pretty affordable camera that I was hoping I could share with people to use, but I think as of right now, it itself is even sold out on Amazon. Everybody's buying webcams. Webcam was apparently the stock market to invest into, and they've definitely sold a bunch of them across all, B&H, Amazon, Newegg. They're going like hotcakes. And I was hoping this one would be enough in stock to share with you guys, but I think even now it's currently out of stock, so a bunch of people just jumped on it anyways. And but when it does come back in stock, I figured it was something we could share and say, hey, check this out. It might be something you're interested in. As for a high-quality streaming camera, I don't think it quite fits the bill for that because I don't feel like it does. But we're going to go back to the rest of the video with a little bit better audio and a better camera so that we can talk about it. This was just hopefully to give you a good audio sample and a video sample of what we see and hear when we use the webcam. It's swivelable and adjustable. The camera on it though is only a 2 megapixel camera that's displaying out at 1080p. So if you can set it to 1080p, but it's not the best looking image quality I've ever seen on a web camera. It's not terrible though, it works, and at least it is a native 1080p. It does have a privacy slider if that's a feature that's important to you, where you can just slide over a little piece of plastic inside to cover up the camera to make sure nobody's invading your privacy. It connects via USB. It's an output camera. It's something that's good for your video conferencing meetings, kids doing Zooms with school, or you doing Zooms with work, or whatever software you're using. The box lists a bunch. Ironically, it lists Blue Jeans like 3 times on the box itself, and I have never even heard of Blue Jeans until then. But yeah, pretty simple, pretty easy little camera. Just plug and play setup. You don't need the software to use it right away. It pretty much just installs itself and you can go. Or you can get some software so that you can customize it to be a little bit better. Things like the exposure were a big problem problem, because in a bright room, much like the office, as you can see how many windows I have, the bright room floods in a bunch of light during the daytime, and the exposure was very washed out. So we needed to change that so it was a shorter range exposure and kind of made it a little bit darker and easier to see me. But for the most part, it's a pretty simple, pretty easy plug and play, not very expensive webcam that will get the job done if you don't have one, something that you can use for your meetings. I did have some hopes and some expectations, probably set too high, thinking that this would be great for somebody doing streaming. It does offer background replacement. If you register the product and use another third-party software, you can do background replacement and have stuff behind you that makes you look like you're in the Himalayas or the Bahamas or wherever you want to be. And I was really hoping that the quality would be just a little bit better, but I guess I should have known better, as it's only a 2-megapixel camera. You know, we see a lot of the cell phones nowadays, even the cheaper ones, have better cameras in them, and you kind of hope to start seeing that in some of these products that are coming out. They should be more mainstream and more produced. And for the price you pay for this, around $50, just shy of maybe. I can't exactly remember, but I paid around $50 for it, and I had hoped that the camera was going to be a little bit better than it was. Overall, not super disappointed for what people are needing to get done right now. But is it something that you can repurpose later into like a streaming camera? It's probably not the best option in the world. If you're going at high resolution, small box in a corner though, it'll do. It's very passable for that, but it's not something that you want to be able to use like I'm using this camera right now. It's not something that's going to be able to display to you probably the way that you're hoping it might, or like the Logitech 920 would be able to do. It's a little bit on that lackluster side. That being said, it's really not a bad camera either. I don't know, kind of find that middle ground with what I'm saying. You got to pick that point. So I'm trying to tell you that it's good enough. It's not great, it's not super amazing, but it's good enough, and you can probably get some extra use out of it after the pandemic crisis is over. You guys have a great day, night, whatever it is. I'll see you in the next video that I do, and I've got some other fun stuff coming up. I just need to find some time to do it, and this just seemed relevant and appropriate right now. Anyways, guys, have a great day, night, whatever it is. I'll see you in the next video that I do.